was interested in Bigfoot from being involved at the Sport Travel and Outdoor shows. My friendship with Larry Batson. He's a Bigfoot aficionado, and he used to sell cassette tapes that had his lectures or eyewitness accounts of people that have been talking about Bigfoot.
Well, I'm a wildlife educator, and for the last 35 years I've been lucky enough to travel all across the country with my collection of wild animals, visiting schools, nature centers, different zoos, and various people interested in conservation movement.
And then a couple of years ago I contacted Larry and asked him to help me put together a Bigfoot convention. I wanted to bring in tourism to Chautauqua County, which is here in western New York State.
Well, I was approached by a producer shortly after that morning in Georgia, asking me for any new ideas on something they could do for their outdoor show, and I presented them the idea of Bigfoot, and I was willing to put the whole presentation together. Well, at first I was going to be rather skeptical about it and really approach it with a little bit of humor. But after I started calling places like Willow Creek, California, and Harrison Hot Springs, British Columbia, and talked to what I would consider very credible people, eyewitnesses, that the conversations basically changed my whole way of thinking about this. And the more I talked about it openly, the more people approached me saying, hey, I know exactly what I've seen such things. In fact, when we were at the outdoor show in Cleveland, Ohio, I received a phone call at my hotel that night from a gentleman who lived in northeastern Ohio. And earlier that day he had seen a television broadcast we were on the subject of Sasquatch, and he basically said to me that he'd been at war with these things. Well, I went to his home shortly thereafter, and he had a complete journal of all these sightings and different things that had happened to him. And I was ready to believe in British Columbia and California and Washington and Oregon, not even thinking about this part of the country. But then I realized that these things have been reported all over the United States, and there was very credible witnesses. So I was becoming, I wouldn't really call it a believer, but I was pretty sure that the existence of the Bigfoot or Sasquatch in North America was very true and very real.
I have had numerous encounters with this creature, or creatures. Woodknocks are not an unusual thing for me. They probably happen a couple times a month, so that's not really unusual. It happens a lot when I'm at my bus stop. I remember this one time, me and my dad were going to trim some branches off a tree, and I heard a woodknock, and the cryptozoologist and me bolted into the woods to go look and investigate. So when I was in there, I was looking around, and I was basically just meandering, and then I heard what sounded like a solid piece of wood on a hollow log. So I started going that way, and I heard a woodknock directly in front of me, and I froze. I was just listening, and I heard another one to my left, and then one behind me. This happened about 3 times. I was surrounded by at least 3 of these things.
Reviewing who was here today in the audience, I was excited and pleased to see that a number of the attendees were children and with their families. And that's important too, because it shows that they've got an interest and they're here to learn more about it. But not only that, the parents are supporting them in what they do, and they're positive about this. I didn't see anybody that seemed reluctant to be here. So that's great. It shows that as we go down the road, as researchers are into this and get older, there's always going to be an interested group of individuals, and the children are our future, and they always will be. But that was great to see the children, the future of Bigfooting here.
In this year's event, we had Bob Gimlin, and Bob is legendary. I mean, there's nobody that's ever looked at the Bigfoot mystery that hasn't seen the Patterson-Gimlin film. Of course, he's the Gimlin in the Patterson-Gimlin film. So to hear him give a recounting of that is a treasure, not only to these children who down the road realize what a treasure they've seen, but for somebody like me who's meeting him for the first time this weekend and getting to hear the first-hand account of that, it just blows my mind.
When Peter invited us up here and I felt that I might meet some of the people that I had met in the past, but I'd meet new people and talk to them, and that's why I'm here, is because the people that attend these, I've always had really, really positive feelings and talk to them, and I enjoy talking to people that understand why we're having these meetings and get-togethers. It's just been an incredible trip, and to be here it just lifts you up and makes you feel good.